the Russian convoy came into the line of sight of a skiff ATGM operator, also known as the Ukrainian Javelin. Without hesitation, the soldier locks onto the target and fires a missile. Using a laser, he guides it straight into the tank. The laser beam must stay on the target until the missile hits it. Good job! In the fight against Russian tanks and armored vehicles, anti-tank guided missiles are one of the key weapons. ATGMs have changed the game. In the past, fighting tanks required other tanks or aircraft, but now a single mobile system can keep an entire army at bay. An anti-tank missile system, anti-tank mines, artillery, and unmanned aerial vehicles are four powerful elements that together form an impenetrable shield against armored vehicles. In this video, we see 7 armored vehicles heading out for their final assault. The reconnaissance drone transmits data to the operator of the ATGM system. The soldier has identified the target. His first victim is the tank leading the convoy. This is how a missile costing $20,000 destroys a tank worth around $500,000 and turns it into a pile of burning scrap metal. The Russians are well aware of the power and threat of the skiff. That's why they actively hunt it. In turn, the Ukrainians effectively camouflage the skiff and even create decoy targets. Here's another interesting case. The crew of a T-72 tank decided to break through the Ukrainian army's defense on their own and open a path for further advancement. The Ukrainians meet him with heavy artillery fire, but by some miracle, he manages to advance forward unharmed. Without hitting a single anti-tank mine, the tank gets closer, all the while firing at Ukrainian positions. There are just under 5 kilometers to the nearest trenches, but the tank is already in the sights of the skiff operator. This is where his luck runs out. The missile of this anti-tank missile system easily covers such a distance and hits its target. Just look at the professionalism demonstrated by the Ukrainian soldiers. With the first shot, they stop the tank and finish it off using an FPV drone. And this is the work of another equally well-known anti-tank missile system of Ukrainian production, called the AT-4 Spigot. The missile is equipped with a fragmentation high-explosive warhead, capable of penetrating the armor of tanks and other armored vehicles at a range of up to 3 kilometers. Here are the footage of the successful destruction of a Russian tank convoy on a strategically important road for the Ukrainians. Working in tandem with the FPV drone operator, the soldier, with his AT-4 Spigot, takes up a strategic position on a hill and begins to knock out enemy vehicles as if in a shooting range. You might have noticed that the launcher operator aims the sight not directly at the target, but slightly above it. Do you know why he does this? The reason is that when the missile is launched from the container, and before its engine activates, it is affected by Earth's gravitational pull, and this attempt at an enemy tank assault ended in failure. From a bird's-eye view, the reconnaissance drone operator tracks moving targets. There's no room for mistakes here. Every detail, every movement of the convoy is relayed in real time. The operator relays the coordinates to the TOW missile system crew. This weapon is capable of hitting targets at long distances with surgical precision. TOW is a semi-automatic anti-tank missile system developed in the United States. The feature of this anti-tank missile system is that the shooter guides the missile to the target using wires, which ensures the reliability and accuracy of the strike. The missile reaches the target and detonates, using a shaped charge warhead capable of penetrating up to 900 millimeters of armor. The operator locks onto the target. It's a tank moving across open terrain. With the second shot, the missile disables the tank. A direct hit. Now, another tank appears on the operator's anti-tank missile system screen. The missile slices through the air and strikes the target with pinpoint accuracy. The TOW missile weighs 93 kilograms. To make it more mobile, The system is also mounted on the Bradley infantry fighting vehicle. This significantly increases its firepower against enemy armored vehicles. Early morning. The Russians are moving in for an assault. More than 100 armored vehicles are involved in this attack. Ukrainians, having detected the column, began an artillery attack. But it's still on the move. The Russians are shooting chaotically in the direction of Ukrainian positions. Artillery uses cluster munitions, which is having an effect. The tank is destroyed. The surviving tanks and APCs are moving forward. This APC was sent first. Let's follow it. That's a Ukrainian artillery hit. The second shot is getting more accurate. The third tank is driving around them, hitting the mines. The Russian armored group moves on. Another column. One of the Russian soldiers fires into the air for some reason. To avoid becoming an easy target for artillery, they're shuttling both ways. There's a lot of them. They're clustered in a large group. These tanks lead the attack. As the drone approaches the field, we see a strip of mines. The first Russian tank is stopped. The second one drives around it and... Ukrainian artillery makes a massive attack on the stopped Russian column. And this looks like a HIMARS strike. While the Ukrainians were distracted by the first assault groups, this column managed to get as close as possible. Under the cover of the smoke, they're moving on. Part of the column is already in the field. They are under massive fire of Ukrainians. FU drones are monitoring the attack from different angles. The first tank goes first, clearing the way from the mines. Just one of these ATGM missiles will bring the Russians a lot of trouble. The Russians are attacking the AFU positions in this wooded area. A hit APC creates a traffic jam, which the Ukrainians take advantage of, and hit the neighboring armored personnel carriers. Nevertheless, the next APCs are moving on. Probably one of them explodes on a mine. Every second, the enemy's equipment is under attack. 2 hits on the APCs at once. One of them explodes. The Russians turn the column around and retreat. The stopped APCs detonate. That was epic, but I've got something else interesting for you. The rest of the column is moving away. The second wave of Russian armored vehicles are on their way to continue the attack. The tactic of attacking in waves could be effective, but not in today's realities. Russian tanks are again moving into the open field. An APC hits a mine. The tank tries to avoid it and explodes. The Ukrainians are using all possible means to hit the tanks. An FPV drone dives into the tank. Here's how it looks from another angle. The APC continues to drive forward, but the whole field is littered with mines. It hits one of them,